Hello, everyone, and welcome to another SynMax webinar. I'm Sophia LaChapelle, your Customer Success Manager, and I am joined today by David Bellman, our lead researcher, Vivek Patel, our LNG analyst, and Ed Mura, one of our Leviaton data scientists. As you know, a few weeks ago, we opened up Leviaton access to all of our Hyperion customers as part of your subscription. And we want to hold the session today to teach you how to utilize this new tool at your disposal by showing some relevant use cases for LNG analysis by using the tool and also explaining how the model works and where the data is coming from. As always, you can submit questions for the Q&A session at the end of the presentation or email support@SynMax with any questions or requests to activate your Leviaton access. And with that, I'll hand it off to David to get us started.
Hi. LNG is becoming obviously very important. I'm sure everyone knows that. And so when I got on this project, I really wanted to build a tool that, I would use and that would help me see into the future. And so we spent quite a bit of time focusing on building a 30-day outlook because that really can help you see where the trend is going. So Leviathan basically has all this tracking information. I think Ed's going to talk about it, how we clean it up and put it on this platform. We have a lot of history. We can then figure out and see where things are going. And we also integrate it with Vulcan, which is the infrastructure watch product that I manage too, that you can see when these facilities are coming on. So having the ship, the facilities, we can create a much better forecast than, just like guessing and randomly trying to understand where things are going. And so that's really what you're going to see here in this demo on what we've done so far and how we've made this product able to forecast. And, obviously, the reasons why LNG is important. I think the BP statistical report just came out and they basically said, hey, by 2035, 20% of US production is going to LNG. So, forecasting natural gas has gotten a lot harder now because it's particularly in the US because now you have a globalized product and that comes with its own complications from geopolitics to the global demand issues. And so being able to see into where things are happening and how things are flowing is what we're built Leviathan on. And right now we have a 30-day forecast and we're just contemplating how we build it even out further. With that, I will let Ed take over and give you the in-depth story of what we've done so far in being able to see into the future.
Great. Thanks, David. So yes, here in this webinar, we're both going to show you how we forecast the volumes, import and export for each of the countries and how we make our forecast for each of the vessel's destination. And we'll also give you a demo of the platform itself and how you can access this information. So for the forecast, our destination predictions are made by combining multiple different sources of data. So first of all, and probably most important, is the AAS data, which you spend quite a while cleaning up. So for example, there can be problems where multiple ships share MMSIs. We've got methods of separating those out. We make sure that our IMO list is up to date. We also take into account historical trends on a vessel by vessel, terminal by terminal, country by country basis. And this helps us capture some of the longer term commitments or contracts between countries, terminals, etc. Also, and this is in collaboration with our Vulcan product, we can look at the terminal utilization and capacity. And so from Vulcan, we can look at how we expect the capacity to evolve over time and how that might drive the destination predictions. There's obviously, of course, the seasonal patterns in trading and the weather. So we can see how the distribution, or trying to predict how the distribution of US exports changes between Europe and Asia as the seasons progress. We also use sort of direct market intelligence. So, for example, if we see a report where a vessel is stated to go to a specific destination, then we can override our model's predictions with this concrete market intelligence. And we found that this sort of combined approach is needed to get an accurate forecast. First of all, because the AIS data is not always accurate. So, for example, if we take the example of Corpus Christi, around 40% of the vessels that arrive at that terminal don't state Corpus Christi as their intended destination. They'll either say for orders, or in about 10% of the cases, they'll give a completely incorrect destination. And so we've got a model which can look at all of well, a vast majority of factors that go into the destination and override that captain's destination when it's incorrect. We also need this combination of data sources when we're trying to predict not just the next destination, but the destination after that. Because for those destinations, the AES data is not available. So, for example, you can see in this image, we're predicting a vessel which is loaded at Sabine Pass. We'll go to Gate in the Netherlands, and then we'll make a return journey back to Sabine Pass. So, as well as destination predictions, we also make volume predictions, overall volume predictions. And we do this by taking into account multiple probable paths for each of the vessels and then combining those together. So, for example, a vessel coming back from Europe, it might go to any one of the Gulf terminals. But then, depending on which Gulf terminal it goes to, will change the probability of which terminal it goes back to. So if you have, if you take into account both the terminal utilization into that, you can start to predict which route a vessel will go most likely. So yeah, by combining the multiple probable routes for each vessel, we can get a much more accurate volume forecast. We make these volume forecasts hourly and for the next 30 days, and this matches our AES data update cadence. And this allows us to capture events like when a vessel's destination or direction changes. And so we can keep our forecast up to date for the current state of vessels on the water. So how well have we done? So on the right here, I'm showing in the red our forecast volume of US exports at the start of the month for that month, actually it's for the next 3 weeks. And then in the green, the true value. And so what you see is that whilst we capture the trend at the moment, we are overestimating consistently around 15% above. So when you use a volume forecast, we do recommend that you calibrate the volumes that we output accordingly. So for example, if we look at the EU import volumes, again, there's this 15% discrepancy, but then if you calibrate for that, then we get a very good fit to the actual EU import volumes, and we get an R squared of around 0.9. And these models are something that we're continuously evolving. So, for example, the last model set that we released was in August, where we got sort of a moderate bump in our first destination accuracy. So here you can see the previous model and the new model accuracy went from 83% to 87%. And then by incorporating some of this new terminal capacity information from Vulcan, and by enhancing some of our seasonal features, we've got quite a big increase in the subsequent destination accuracy from 63% to 72%. And likewise, in the estimated time of arrival, we saw a moderate improvement in that first destination ETA, and then a slightly larger increase in the accuracy of our subsequent destination estimated time of arrivals. So now that you've got a little bit of an idea of the model that's behind this, I'm going to hand over to Vivek, our LNG analyst to show you how he uses the platform to make his research and reports.
Yeah,
Over to you, Vivek.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. So so we started the question with so much new MTPA supply is going to be added all over the world, mostly US and Middle East. How can Leviaton track let's take North America and let's take US. How can we track every US LNG cargo departure? And I'll do a live demo on the website. So we have global LNG coverage. We track every vessel, every LNG facility out there. We have departure intelligence. We have that captures the vessel name, cargo capacity, and all the other metrics that you need to know. And then destination tracking, where you can also monitor regas utilization rates at key import hubs like in Gate, in Zeebrugge. So I'll just show the platform. So this is a Leviaton platform, and this is a world map. Right now, what you see on the screen are all the fully loaded LNG vessels. They are probably heading to a regas terminal. Red are all the empty vessels that are probably heading to a liquefaction plant. These are all the liquefaction terminals, plants that we have, and then regas. So let's take example of Plaquemines, which started last year in December. So when you click on Plaquemines, you get you see a bunch of stuff on the screen. The red vessels are all the vessels that currently we predict are headed to Plaquemines and where they are right now. So if you zoom out on the map, you can see one is near the Malacca Strait in Egypt, a lot's in Europe. Most of them are right now in the Atlantic Basin heading towards Plaquemines. So if you see on the right, you get a bunch of metrics over here. So we see total predicted volume, which we think is 34.76 BCF. And next 7 days, we predict 4.7 BCF will come to Plaquemines. Then you've predicted arrivals, vessels. So we are predicting the probability of a vessel that will come to the plant. So that's why you don't expect to see whole numbers. And then the next 7 days as well. And then you get this transactions predictions where you get a spread of what are the names of the vessels and ETA when they'll come. So you have all these vessels and the probability that they'll come over there. So let's click on one vessel. Let's click on Gaslock Seattle over here. So you can see the vessel is over here right now. Gaslock Seattle. So yeah, the vessel is right now over here. And it's predicted to come to Plaquemines on 29th. So in 3 days, it will come to Plaquemines. So if you scroll down, you see transactions history for last 3 months. Just an overview of where the vessel has delivered cargo, where the vessel has picked up cargo from. So you see Gola Tundra over here in Italy. It has offloaded 3.3 BCF. It picked up cargo. Last cargo was in Plaquemines as well. So this vessel has been doing lots of Plaquemines pickups. So you've in South America, you've Plaquemines, and here you also have a brief history. If you just want to click and see the AIS path history, you can just quickly query that, and you can see the vessel and how its way AIS track. So you get a visualization of how the vessel has traveled. Likewise, you can also click and pick what plant you want, and you can analyze an aggregate, and you can see an aggregated view, total historical volume for all 9 terminals that we are predicting over here. So we can remove this, and this gives you a whole holistic picture of how much cargo will be exported of the US. And you can do this for any region. You can do this for Middle East, Europe, Russia, and your area of interest. And you have more metrics to choose from. You can also download a CSV if you want to more detailed analysis, transaction history, as I said. Yeah. So I'm moving on. I'll move to the second question, which is with Leviathan, how can you find out how many LNG cargoes will Europe need over the next 30 days? We have right now they have storage fill targets of 83% that they have to meet between October and December. So how can Leviathan help you in your analysis? So we have a 1 month forecasting model that we have built in-house at Leviathan, and I'll just start with the dashboard this time. So here you can go to dashboard. Today is 26th of September. So I want to know how much cargo will be coming to Europe from 26th September to 26th of October, when the forecast date is today. We want offloading. And here I just type Europe and I make you can add some countries, you can remove some countries. So I'll just remove some countries, and then so you have historical volumes. So these are volumes that have already been imported in this time frame, and then your forecasted volumes. So if you add both of them is the sum of how much cargo Europe will import in next month. And you get more metrics over here, upper quartile, more statistics for your analysis, and you get a data table over here where a daily breakdown, where you get to see a daily breakdown of historical volumes, forecasted volumes, and more metrics. You can also download a CSV and perform more analysis of this. You can also add more metrics. So let's say I want to know how much will come to US. So you can go how much US will import to Europe. So this is US exporting to Europe. So US LNG would be of 3.3 BCF forecasted in next 1 month. Let's add Russia here as well and see. So Russia, right now they are only exporting to Yamal in Arctic, so 71 BCF. And then you can add Qatar as well. Qatar and Russia both. So together they'll export 115 BCF in next 1 month. So you can also go to transactions and you can see daily transactions of a spread of number of transactions that are happening. So import to export, pick up to delivery. So you get a spread and more metrics of a breakdown by IMO, transaction type, where the vessel came from originally, and the timestamp when the cargo was delivered, and the probability as well. So more metrics. Of course, you can download CSV for this one as well. So just an application. So in July, we published a report where using our models and our forecasting capabilities, we were forecasting how much Europe will import in next until December 2025, especially when they have a policy, they have shifting supply, they have targets that need to be met. So we published this report to clients in July, and we came up with this chart on how the balance will look for Europe. So August, we predicted that if we add Leviathan LNG imports, end of August, European inventory will stand at 76.8. September will stand at 84, and that's when we think the target will be met that they were supposed to achieve. And then October will reach its peak, and then you have the withdrawal season, and then in November, December, the storage will go back. So how did we fare? August call, 76.8, actual ended up at 77, so 0.9 difference. We forecasted August imports, total imports will be, on 1st of August, will be 391 BCF, and the actual came at 364. So roughly around 30 BCF difference. September tracking, so we forecasted 84.7% with 434 BCF of imports. Currently, it is at 82 as of yesterday. Right now, I just checked in the morning, it is 80 with 427 BCF expected. So we are close on import side this time, with 339 BCF already delivered and 88 BCF for the rest of September. So we still have 5 days. So yeah, the whole paper, we can, along with the method and the assumption that we made, you can reach out to us and we can send that to you again. So how do we use Leviaton for research? We publish weekly market reports that cover all range of topics that concern the LNG world: dark fleet movements, China import, and US situation, Middle East risks. So you can see, if you remember the Strait of Hormuz tensions that were in late July, we published a report on Sunday, uh, and about how this will affect Qatar LNG. And if you see in this image over here, you can see the AIS, erratic AIS that was found over here. That was because they were just trying to hide their location, or this was some electromagnetic interference. We don't know, but we sent this report, and we were continuously tracking all the vessels and just sending reports to our clients. Then we have sanctioned LNG. We are on top of this. This has become a very important issue lately. 6 LNG cargoes have already been delivered from that are of ALNG2 origin to China in Beihai. We also wrote last week, we published a deep report on China's LNG import scenario and the rise of their domestic production. And you can check that one as well. We've been publishing reports on with Vulcan, what we have is satellite imagery. So what we did was we went to every European regas terminal that is under construction right now, and China as well, and we forecasted how much regas capacity will come in these two big regions, China. And one example was this chart that you see, annual regasification capacity. And this is through satellite data that we saw how much Europe will achieve. So Europe will have 292 MTPA of regas capacity by 2028. So yeah. And then again, LNG Canada. So any research that comes out of Leviaton, from us, uses Leviaton, and you can make any chart, any data point. You can create the analysis by yourself if you use the platform. And these are the same tools we use. You can access Leviaton using a dashboard. We also have API, and then of course research. Thank you.
Yeah, so one thing, Vivek, you should show real quick is the dashboard keeps all the forecast. So that's where the calibration is. You can actually use, you can pull in historical forecasting and see the latest trends of how the forecast is relative to the history and make that adjustment. That's what we did in order to do that analysis in Europe. So there's that forecast date drop down. You can just start picking historical dates, and that's how you'll be able to understand the current trends of the forecast model.
Yeah, so let's do August 1 to September, and then you can change the forecast date to, let's say, what was the forecast model saying on 12th of August. So this was the historical. So this was, and then you can paint, and you can see the model changes for forecast volumes. And yeah, this is what David was talking.
Yeah, and then you can see your actuals there. So anyway, that's it. Sophia, any Q&A?
One is, how far back do those forecasts go?
Ed, what is the number right now?
Yeah, so we backtest these to 2024, and I think we have daily as of, I'm going to say June this year, but I can check that again. And if there's a region you're interested in, we can rerun the forecast for the historical dates.
Okay, awesome. looks like that's kind of the only question that came in. So I'll just reiterate that. Oh, wait, there's another one. Is there API or a way you can pull the data automatically to incorporate into fundamental models?
Yes. At the end of the presentation, there is a link. I guess Sophia, you'll send that link out to the API documentation. So yeah, all the information you can access on the dashboard, you can also access via the API.
Yep, I'll make sure to include the API documentation links with the recording and the presentation after this call. But yes, thanks everyone for joining today. If you have any questions, you can, like I said, email us at support@synmax.com or reach out to me or support in order to enable the platform. And I'm happy to share any of the links that you might need as well. Thanks for taking the time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.